Hey guys, what's up? It's me, MC Matador here, and today I am bringing you another installation of a series that you may be familiar with. I haven't uploaded one of these in a few months, but this is the Imagine Yourself as the Boss series for the first park that is not my home park in Six Flags Great America. That's right, due to the moderate success of both versions of Six Flags Great America's Imagine Yourself as the Boss, I decided this series will become an infrequent but permanent fixture on this channel. I can upload it basically whenever, and it gets me thinking, it gets you guys thinking, and maybe we can have some banter. I don't know. I make these because I want to, not want to elicit a reaction, I just want to put my views in the internet senselessly. With, you know, actual appropriate reaction. Anywho, I'll be doing another Six Flags park today, but this one has become a lot more prevalent to me because my university instead of being in northern Illinois near Chicago, my university is more or less in central Illinois. So, I want to talk about probably the closest park to my university, Six Flags St. Louis. It's been rather neglected in the chain since ever since Six Flags went bankrupt, and maybe even was neglected more or less even then. If you're not familiar with this series, though, I do want to say that this thing is a modified 5-year plan video. It's a common structure that some coaster enthusiasts and other popular coaster YouTubers do or have done, and this I only do this take on parks that I visited, and I must do it in the context of the parks within reason. The whole context is that I have been given full control over what the park has adds, but I must take into account the unique challenges of land management, ride enhancement/expansion, and budgeting success. So I'm not just going to add a Giga Coaster of varying kinds all 5 years. That would be boring, that would be completely unreasonable, and honestly would be redundant after about the second year. And it would stop improving the lineup. But my policy is that in order to see the future and kind of get a pattern and sense of what's going on, I gotta look into the past. Uh, don't mind the spelling error, frick. So 2010s, this past decade, it's now 2020, so this is the perfect time to start doing these 5-year plans. For the 2010s, last decade's abridged, they got nothing in 2010 because Six Flags was in the midst of their Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They were trying to restructure their debts, and they were selling off parks. And they kept St. Louis because it was one of the parks that they conceived themselves back in the early 70s. They removed 2 small flat rides, a Chance Rides Yo-Yo, which had ability to be replaced with the 2011 edition, and a mini carousel that has bounced around the park because of installation. Like, used to be in one area, then it got relocated due to American Thunder's building, or Evil Knievel at the time, and it got relocated again, because of something else, and then they just killed it. The Yo-Yo was replaced by a Funtime Starflyer in 2011, Sky Screamer. The bumper cars were moved at the end of the 2012 season, which would be replaced by 2013's edition. But for 2012, they did the Waterpark Expansion with Bonsai Pipelines, a set of drop capsule water slides. In 2013 was their last major addition, Boomerang, although it was a relocation of a typical standard Vekoma Boomerang from Six Flags over Texas, taking the place of the bumper cars. They also removed a standard but not operating Intamin Drunken Barrels, which was replaced by Tsunami Soaker in 2014, a Mock Ride's Twist and Splash. They then, for 2015, gutted the Scooby-Doo Scary Swamp Dark Ride and replaced it with a state-of-the-art cloned, it was first edition, shooting Dark Ride Justice League Battle for Metropolis by Sally Rides. Their Chance Falling Star, I forget what it was called because it was a long, convoluted name, was removed at the end of the season and sent to La Ronde, replaced by Fireball, a Larson standard super loop. I believe it's like 23 meters, that's the standard. Then they had some additional room near Tsunami Soaker and Ninja to put in Spinsanity, a Zamperla Disco. They killed 2 rides in 2017, a speed slide complex in the water park and a Enterprise flat ride, which are becoming even more rare. The speed slide was replaced by Typhoon Twister, a pro slide bowl and wall slide, and the Endeavor was replaced in the Enterprise was replaced in 2019 by Supergirl, a Zamperla Endeavor. They killed 2 more rides in 2020, Tidal Wave, a Shoot the Chutes ride, and the go-karts, which were replaced by Catwoman's Whip, a Funtime booster. So, definitely some notable trends. This park has not gotten a lot of love in this decade. only one coaster in 10 years, which is a relocated Boomerang. They haven't removed a roller coaster, but they haven't built a new one either. And speaking of removing things, they basically just have to remove something in order to build something. Like, a lot of these years were consecutive direct replacements or replacements after 2 years of defunct land. And that kind of leads me into my first conclusion, because there's still an empty spot, which is Tidal Wave, the Chutes ride, which will be replaced by the long-awaited next coaster from Six Flags St. Louis, an RMC Raptor Clone. There hasn't been a ground-up coaster at this park since 2008, American Thunder, a GCI Woody. Their last coaster as a whole hasn't been built in 8 years at this point, a relocated Boomerang from Six Flags Over Texas in 2013. The relocation of Tidal Wave opens up just enough land for a clone of a ride that was built when a similar attraction was removed. Six Flags Fiesta Texas at the end of during midway through the 2017 season, built or removed Power Surge, a similar if not identical type of ride, and built in 2018 Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster. It's a better option than the standard free spin because the nearest Raptor is the aforementioned Fiesta Texas, while the nearest free spin is in Chicago, Great America. It's also a better ride, and it's a better use for the land than the free spin. I mean, I could totally see them going the free spin with this, but they need a Raptor more. A Raptor would be an absolutely excellent addition for this park. And 8 years is too long. They need to end the drought. It's a smaller edition. It shouldn't cost too much, and it will bring an attendance boost to the area. And the removal of Tidal Wave this past December will spark the long-deserved movement that we all wanted. They will be getting an RMC Raptor clone, like the identical clone or a mirrored clone of Golden Lasso coaster for 2021. In 2022, I do predict a little continuation with the aggressive expansion, as there's a pristine plot of land available where the sky coaster, Dragon's Wing, is. And I think it'll be replaced by a Zamperla Giant Discovery, which I'm pretty sure every Six Flags park is going to have one of these eventually, and St. Louis will get theirs in 2022. This will also be a smaller version, the Giant Discovery, not the Giga Discovery. The Giga Discovery is the 172-foot models found in Magic Mountain, Mexico, Fiesta Texas, and Great Adventure, while the Giant Discovery is found in places like Over Texas, Discovery Kingdom, America, and New England, and over Georgia. So, I predict that with the popularity of Catwoman's Whip coming up, especially if Catwoman's Whip is free, since Dragon's Wing will be an upcharge attraction, several parks have already started removing these, such as Six Flags Great Escape and Six Flags America most recently. I predict that Dragon's Wing will bite the dust at the end of the 2021 season with little remorse and make way for this amazing, thrilling attraction, which I think will be the end of the investment for a little while, because 2023 will be an unspecified small flat ride. Six Flags St. Louis already has several of the small standard flats like the Endeavor, the Scrambler, the Super Loop, a lot of the smaller, cheaper additions that Six Flags has built over the past few years. Maybe by 2023 a new smaller flat ride will be popularized by Six Flags. Maybe the Nebula Z, which was at IAAPA this past year and has an installation at Coney Island. Maybe they'll go back to their old roots and buy something like a Flying Scooters from Larson, or they'll buy a Troika. Like, they still have a Crazy Legs disassembled at Over Texas. They can easily get Over Texas's Troika and call it a year. Especially after 2 years of such aggressive expansion. I mean, this could be determined as time passes. I'm not going to make definite constitutes for this edition because, like, the flat ride market, especially the small flat ride market, is like a market that strikes me as innovative and competitive. And I really think that this can't be determined as early as 2020 for a 2023 small flat ride. And they could easily shoehorn it into a small undeveloped pocket of land, or they can remove a small existing flat. There could be some that strike me, maybe Excalibur, maybe Tsunami Soaker, which, because water rides are losing their relevance. Maybe something else. I don't know. I don't know what they would end up removing, if anything. Maybe they could have a small pocket of undeveloped land. Like, they might have some near the Giant Discovery. They might have some near Mr. Freeze. They might have some from the Raptor in the future to be named. I mean, other than Dragon's Wing, or what I'm removing in for the 2025 edition, nothing really strikes me as needing to go. So, we're going to get an unspecified small flat ride for 2023. Whatever it ends up being. It's just the whole point is that this year is going to go small after 2 large years of addition. 2024 will bring the first Waterpark expansion in 6 years, because they installed a Waterpark attraction in 2012, 2018, and it'll be 6 years since their next one, 2024. They'll use a pocket of undeveloped land, or maybe remove a slide complex depending on how much land they have in the trees, or how much land they own in the trees to the right side of the water park or the far side. They can go for a modern Big Thrill water slide. Or they can maybe even build up to a water coaster, which would really round up their lineup. I think that the water parks are typically a lot more sustainable and like require less development than dry parks. So I'm going to play the long game with the water park. I mean, it obviously draws a lot of people. The water park is very popular for the summer season, but it doesn't need as much attention as a dry park. So I'm going to make just the bold prediction. It definitely doesn't need to be neglected, because a much bigger park, Great America, went 9 years without a water park expansion. Granted, the last one was pretty large in Riptide Bay, getting 2 new slide complexes, a pool, a river, flow rider, restaurants, bathrooms, lockers, the whole works, and a bunch of new chairs as well. Maybe we could see something like that, but I'm thinking we're just going to get one slide or one slide complex, and probably maybe some internal improvements. And number 2025, at the end of the 2024 season, fresh off the coattails of the new Waterpark expansion, the Log Flume, one of 3 surviving water rides, 2 if Tsunami Soaker gets removed for the 2023 expansion, will be removed. They still have their Thunder Rapids, which goes in and around the Mr. Freeze area. So this is a bit of a tough one, because they already have, especially with the Raptor, a rather well-rounded but not necessarily world-class lineup. It's definitely not going to be a wooden coaster, because it'll already have 3: Boss, Screaming Eagle, American Thunder. They're not going to go the routes of a launch coaster, because this Log Flume is very close to Mr. Freeze, and Mr. Freeze is already quite a good launch ride. So what I'm thinking is definitely a steel coaster, but whatever steel coaster they get is going to be determined. They already have like their ejector airtime one with their RMC Raptor and wooden coasters. They already have their family ones in Pandemonium and River King Mine Train. Maybe a full circuit steel looper would be in the order. I was thinking something from S&S due to Six Flags affiliation with them, like along the lines of the Steel Curtain at Kennywood. Maybe a little smaller than that. Or maybe even an Axis model, because this is 2025. It could be a mainstream project by then. The Axis. This could give locals a reason to keep on coming, and will develop a large plot of land fading in relevance year by year. Because I haven't done their Log Flume, but looking at it from the outside, it's actually kind of pathetic. Like, it's very short. It's kind of stuck in a corner of land, which is very valuable. It takes up a lot of space, but doesn't really do a whole lot. And especially with the rise in pocket technology and smartwatches, mobile smartphones, tablets, and people bringing more and more with them in their pockets to the park, and not just being able to store them as easily, due to whether it be privacy concerns or concerns with theft. I feel like Log Flumes, which has already been more of a reinstated trend, are on their way out. And this, getting rid of their Log Flume would be probably nothing but beneficial, especially so far down the road where Log Flumes might even be going extinct. So getting a major steel coaster in 2025 would be an absolute must. Oh, and one more point before I end the video as well, and do the usual outro fanfare. I do want to also consider doing a lot of TLC to the park. Six Flags St. Louis is not the best run park and isn't the richest park. I would definitely try and make a pitch more to employment. I would maybe paint a few rides, like Mr. Freeze can really use a paint job. I can, of course, retrack wooden coasters that might need it, like retrack sections of the Boss, or at this point, American Thunder could be getting a little rough because it's been around for over 15 years at this point. Do, of course, maintenance to upkeep Screaming Eagle, which is their ace landmark PTC out and back wooden coaster, and super underrated, in my opinion. Of course, it's just going to be a lot of managerial and small things that will try and make the park a lot more appealing. St. Louis is an interesting city, to say the least, and being from Chicago, I obviously have a bit of a foul air to the city, just out of rivalry. We're two of the biggest cities in the Midwest, and of course Chicago is a superiority complex, and being fans of the Cubs and Blackhawks, I kind of also have to, I'm legally obligated to hate St. Louis. So, I haven't been back to this park in 5 years, so it's a bit of a stretch for me already making this video as is, but these things aren't hard to make. I do want to say that I enjoy making these. I hope this one does pretty well. I really want these to do well, and I really hope I want to make more, because I got some parks that are in the works. Maybe Cedar Point, Carowinds, maybe Magic Mountain. Maybe I can raise you in over Georgia. Who knows? All I know is that I guess these opinions are just about as valid as throwing an object into the wall and seeing if it sticks. For all I know, none of these can happen. For all I know, the park is sold to Premiere and never thought of again, because Six Flags is getting their hands caught too deep in the china jar. That might be full of cookies or anthrax. Who knows? Anywho, on that note, I'm going to say thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscription. I hope you guys have a great insert unit of time here. If I know this is for a lot of university students, we're starting to get to first exams, midterms will be coming up in the next month. So good luck on those if you're part of that, or coming up in early March. It's a little early for that. I'll make more videos before typical midterms, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I wish you guys peace.